I want you to picture a very specific moment. You probably know the exact one I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm sure I do.
It's a corporate mixer. Or maybe like a high-end industry gala. You're wearing a nice suit or a blazer, holding a drink in one hand.
Usually it's something precarious, like red wine.
Right. Red wine over a white shirt. And you've just met someone who could be totally pivotal for your next quarter.
The conversation is flowing.
Exactly. The chemistry is right. Everything is going perfectly, and then the dance happens.
The panicked pocket pat down.
Yes. You start patting your pockets, chest pocket, side pocket, maybe checking the back pocket. You're looking for a business card.
You can feel the momentum just dying.
It does. The cold sweat sets in because you realize you left them in the hotel room. Or worse, the only one you have is, slightly bent.
With a faint coffee stain on the corner from breakfast.
Exactly.
It creates this instant friction. It just completely breaks the spell of the conversation. And honestly, even if you do have the card, you hand it over and you watch them politely nod.
And just tuck it straight into a wallet.
Yeah. But you both know the truth. You know that card is effectively dead.
It's just going to end up in the trash. And that friction point is exactly what we are looking at today. But we aren't just here to complain about paper waste or awkward social interactions.
No, we have a much more interesting fix to talk about.
Right. We are looking at a very specific high-end solution that claims to solve all of this. Today, we are doing a deep dive into the CrystoCoin NFC by Crystocraft.
And this is such a fascinating case study because it sits right at the intersection of two things that usually they don't mix at all.
Heavy industrial aesthetics and invisible tech.
Exactly. You've got this Swarovski-level crystal and metal engineering on one side, and then seamless digital utility, specifically NFC technology, on the other.
So for this deep dive, we've combed through the actual technical specifications from Crystocraft. We looked at their proprietary crystal fabric, their user guides on NFC programming,
And the really cool engineering breakdown of how you actually get a radio signal to pass through a solid metal coin.
which is wild. So the mission here is to figure out if this is just a gimmick. Is it just glittery tech for the sake of being shiny?
Or does this actually represent a real shift in how professional identity is exchanged?
Let's get into it. And I think we need to start with the incumbent technology here, the paper business card.
The classic.
It feels like it's been around since the invention of the printing press. So why are we actively trying to kill it now?
Well, the data we pulled from the sources is pretty damning. There was one statistic that jumped out immediately. 88 billion.
88 billion.
Yeah. That is the estimated number of paper business cards printed annually.
That is a staggering amount of trees.
Trees, ink, shipping, it's massive.
Yeah.
But the more painful stat for any business owner is the retention rate.
Right. How many people actually keep them?
Almost none. The source material indicates that the vast majority of those 88 billion cards are discarded within a single week.
Usually after one use.
Exactly. It's a massive efficiency gap. You are manufacturing a physical object for a 10-second interaction.
It's basically single-use plastic, but paper.
Yeah.
And from a user experience perspective, paper is just static. If I give you my card today and I get promoted tomorrow...
Or your company changes its domain name.
Right. Then that card in your pocket is now a lie. It's useless.
Precisely. And that's where the shift to NFC comes in. Near-field communication. Now, we should probably clarify for the listeners right off the bat, this is not a QR code.
Oh, thank goodness.
You're not a fan.
I have a personal vendetta against QR codes at networking events. It's always, hold on, let me unlock my phone, open the camera, try to find the light.
Oh, wait, it didn't scan. Let me move back.
Yeah, it's clumsy. It just ruins the moment.
It's high friction. But NFC is what powers Apple Pay, or your tap-to-enter office badge. It utilizes passive RFID technology.
Passive meaning no battery, right?
Exactly. The coin itself doesn't have a battery, which is key for durability. When you bring a smartphone close to it, within about 4 centimeters, the phone emits a magnetic field.
And that field wakes up the chip inside the coin.
You got it. The phone actually powers the coin wirelessly.
That is so cool.
And in that split second, the coin transmits a payload of data, a V-card, a LinkedIn profile, a website, a WhatsApp contact, basically whatever you told it to send.
Okay, so the premise is simple. I carry one object, the CrystoCoin. I tap it against your phone. You get my info digitally, instantly saved to your contacts.
And you keep your coin. No waste, no reprinting.
That plays right into the sustainability angle, which is huge for corporate ESG goals right now.
Huge. But there's a durability and psychology angle, too. Paper creates a quantity mindset,
The spray and pray approach.
handing them out like flyers on a sidewalk.
Yeah.
But a reusable NFC device creates a quality mindset. You are curating the interaction.
Okay, to be fair, NFC business cards aren't brand new. I've seen plastic ones. I've even seen a few wooden ones floating around.
Richard.
But the CrystoCoin seems to be trying to solve a very specific engineering problem regarding the materials and the perception of those materials.
Right. Because if you want a true premium feel at a corporate event, you usually want metal.
Plastic feels cheap.
And metal feels expensive. It has gravity to it. Yeah. So the CrystoCoin is a zinc alloy, and it's plated in gold, chrome, or rose gold. It actually has heft.
But here's the physics problem I was reading about on the source notes. Metal blocks radio waves.
Yes, it does.
If I wrap an antenna in a sheet of copper, I've built a Faraday cage. Nothing gets in or out. So how did Crystocraft make a solid metal coin that transmits data without blocking the signal?
That is the clever bit of engineering in their specs. They went with this dual-sided sandwich architecture.
Okay.
They realized they couldn't make the whole thing metal, or it would just be a dead brick. So side A is what they call the metal side.
Which effectively is a dead zone signal-wise.
Completely dead. The metal side acts as a shield. But that's intentional. Because it's solid metal, they can use heavy industrial techniques on it.
Like laser engraving?
Laser engraving, enamel filling, or relief, which is that raised 3D minting look you see on actual currency.
Oh, like a real coin.
Yeah. This is where the company puts their logo or the heavy branding.
So side A is the billboard. It looks like a challenge coin or a military medal. It's the suit and tie side.
Exactly. But side B is the functional side. And this is where the innovation happens. They've hollowed out a cavity in the metal coin, placed the NFC chip inside, and then covered it with this crystal fabric.
Wait, so crystals, unlike metal, are radiotransparent?
Yes. Glass and crystal are dielectrics. They let electromagnetic waves pass right through without interference. So the crystal layer acts as a window. You tap the crystal side of the phone, and the signal beams right through all the sparkles.
So it's essentially a functional disguise. You're hiding the ugly green circuitry behind a layer of jewelry.
And shielding it with a metal back.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very deliberate marriage of aesthetics and physics. You get the durability and weight of metal, but the connectivity of the crystal window.
Let's dig into this crystal fabric stuff, because the name sounds a bit like marketing fluff.
It does sound like buzzwords.
But looking at the specs in our source material, this is actually some pretty complex material science. It's not just, craft glitter glued to a piece of metal.
Not at all. CrystoCraft positions this as the best Swarovski alternative on the market. And they are very specific about the composition. They use millions of tiny cut and uncut crystal elements.
How tiny are we talking?
The standard crystal fabric uses elements that are roughly 1 millimeter in diameter.
Wow, that is small.
Tiny. They integrate these into a carrier material to create a surface that is luminous and textured.
The texture point is really interesting to me because usually if something is covered in crystal shards, I expect it to feel like sandpaper.
Right, which you do not want in your pocket.
You don't want to snag your expensive suit jacket or your silk tie on your own business card?
That's a key distinction in their manufacturing process. The source explicitly mentions that despite the extreme sparkle, it's designed to be smooth to the touch.
So it's tactilely pleasing.
Very. You kind of want to rub your thumb over it, almost like a worry stone.
Now, I noticed in the customization guide there's a sparkle scale, which is a hilarious term. You can actually dial up the intensity of the bling.
Yes, you can literally engineer the level of flash. It comes down to the size of the crystal elements.
Like resolution on a screen.
Exactly like resolution, but for light reflection.
Okay, walk us through the tiers. If I'm a conservative law firm, what do I pick? And if I'm a Vegas nightclub, what do I pick?
So tier 1 is the standard crystal fabric we just mentioned, the 1 millimeter crystals.
Okay.
This creates a subtle shimmer. It's elegant. It's best if you have fine lines in your logo design because the crystals are small enough not to distort the image printed underneath them.
So that's the law firm option. Subtle, classy, legible. What if I want to be louder?
Then you move up to crystal fine rock. Now you're using PP9 size crystals, which are about 1.5 millimeters.
Okay, bigger rocks.
Because the crystals are larger, they have more facets, so they catch a lot more light. It gives a deeper, more 3D effect.
And the top tier, the maximum volume option.
That would be crystal rock. Just rock. These are PP14 crystals, roughly 2 millimeter double-pointed Chatons.
Chatons? What is that?
It's a jewelry term. It refers to a specific cut of gemstone that mimics a diamond's shape.
Fancy.
Very fancy.
Yeah.
And these provide the maximum possible sparkle. However, there is a trade-off here, and it's one businesses really need to understand before ordering.
The resolution issue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the crystals are bigger, you lose resolution on whatever graphic is printed underneath.
Right. It's like lowering the pixel density on a TV. You get more brightness, but way less detail.
Precisely. That's a really crucial trade-off. If you have a complex logo with a lot of small text, you can't use the rock finish because your logo will just look pixelated and blurry through the large crystals.
You'd have to use the standard fabric.
Right. And then, just to make it even more complex, they have these organic textures, crystal medley and crystal galusha.
Galuchat. I actually looked this up because I had no idea what it meant. Historically, that refers to shark or stingray skin leather, right? It was huge in the Art Deco period.
That's exactly right. It has that pebbled, irregular surface. Crystocraft replicates that vibe by mixing completely different sizes of cut and uncut beads.
Oh, it's not a uniform grid.
No. It creates this uneven, shimmering surface that feels very organic, almost like a natural mineral formation you'd find in a cave, rather than a manufactured surface.
So we've covered the texture, but let's talk about the visual customization because the source material really emphasized how this changes the visual identity of an event.
It does.
How does the branding work on the crystal side? Are they painting the actual crystals?
No, and that's the lens effect I was alluding to earlier. The crystal fabric itself is mostly transparent. They print the graphics, the colors, or the patterns on the substrate layer underneath the crystals.
Oh, so the crystals act like a million little magnifying glasses sitting on top of the print.
Precisely. This creates an incredible amount of depth, and the customization options listed in the source are wild. They don't just offer standard blue or red.
Yeah, I saw they have patterns like aesthetic floral, checker retro, and surprisingly, animal print.
Animal print. Imagine a leopard or zebra print, but fractured through thousands of tiny crystals.
That sounds intense.
It takes a very bold pattern and makes it look almost holographic. The pattern shifts and changes as you tilt the coin in the light.
And the colors themselves seem very specific, like volcano blue and crystal AB.
Crystal AB stands for Aurora Borealis.
Like the northern lights.
Exactly. It's an iridescent coating that shifts color depending on the angle of the light. You get pinks, blues, golds.
Wow.
Comet Argent Light is another one they mention. It gives a metallic silver mirror effect.
It really seems like they are trying to move the business card away from being an office supply and turning it into a fashion accessory.
That is absolutely the goal. And they even explicitly mention using a black back film versus a transparent back film.
How does that change things?
Using a black film behind the crystals creates a moodier, deeper reflection, whereas a transparent film lets the light bounce back more aggressively.
So it gives event planners a lot of levers to pull to match the specific vibe of the night.
Exactly. And speaking of event planners, it's interesting that this ecosystem extends way beyond just the coin. The source material mentions spinning whiskey glasses.
I loved this detail so much. This is where the whole event experience really comes in.
Right, because if you are hosting a high-end gala, you want cohesion. You don't want a generic water glass and then a fancy high-tech coin.
You want everything to match.
So you can apply this exact same crystal fabric technology to MagSafe wallet stands, Apple Watch bands, and, yes, the base of whiskey glasses.
Wait, so explain the whiskey glass thing to me again.
Imagine a heavy crystal tumbler. The base of it is adorned with this crystal fabric. It's designed so that as you spin the glass on the table like you do when you're nursing a scotch,
Right.
the light from the room hits the crystals in the base and flares up. The source calls it a mesmerizing dance of glitter and gleam.
That is incredibly specific and kind of genius. You're drinking your scotch, you casually spin the glass, and the table literally lights up.
It creates an immersive brand experience. If your networking coin, your watch band, and your drink all share this tactile visual language, it just elevates the whole event.
It signals to the guest, hey, we paid attention to the details.
It turns the networking tool into part of the decor.
Okay, so we've successfully established that this thing is shiny, it's well-engineered, and it looks great next to a glass of scotch.
Definitely.
But I want to go back to the fumble. The tech fumble.
Yes.
If I'm a CEO and I hand this beautiful crystal coin to someone and it doesn't work or I can't figure out how to program it, it's honestly worse than a paper card.
It's way worse.
It's embarrassing.
The tech shame is a real fear. If the tech fails, you look incompetent.
So how difficult is the programming? Do I need a degree in computer science to put my name on this thing?
Thankfully, no. And this is where their decision to use standard protocols really pays off.
Standard protocols.
Yeah, you don't need a clunky proprietary Crystocraft app that steals your data or takes up space on your phone. You just use industry standard tools like NFC tools or NXP tag writer.
And these are just free apps on the App Store.
Completely free.
Yeah.
The process outlined in the tutorial is literally 4 steps.
Walk me through it.
Step 1, open the app.
Easy enough.
Step 2, select write and then add record.
Okay.
Step 3, choose your payload. And this is key. It can be a URL, a contact file like a vCard, a social media profile, or even a Wi-Fi login for an event.
Oh, Wi-Fi login is smart.
And then step 4, tap the coin to your phone.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
The phone writes the data to the chip in less than a second, gives a little beep, and you're done.
Here's a feature that I think is the killer app for this whole concept,
Sure.
especially for corporate agility.
Rewritability.
Rewritability.
It's the game changer. A paper card is static. It is a snapshot of who you were on the exact day you sent it to the printer. But the CrystoCoin is dynamic.
So let's play this out. Let's say I'm a sales director. On Monday, I'm at a massive general trade show.
So you program the coin to link to your company's generic homepage,
Hmm.
or maybe just your standard LinkedIn profile.
Right. But then on Wednesday, I'm launching a highly specific new product line at a boutique event.
You take 10 seconds in the Uber on the way there. You open the free app. You change the link to the specific landing page for that new product. You tap your coin, and you're updated.
That is seamless.
Now, everyone you tap goes exactly where you want them to go for that specific context.
It basically allows for A/B testing your networking.
It does. It essentially turns your physical token into a dynamic digital pointer. You could point it at your LinkedIn today and your design portfolio tomorrow.
The object stays the same, but the function evolves.
Exactly.
And portability-wise, the source mentions it works as a keychain, too.
Yes. And I think for women especially, this is a really big deal.
How so?
Dealing with business cards when you're carrying a small clutch or no bag at all is a nightmare.
Oh, right. They get crushed.
A durable metal coin that clips onto a keyring or just slides into a tiny pocket is so much easier to manage than a stack of cardboard rectangles that get dog-eared.
It solves the where do I put this problem.
Exactly. And because it actually looks like jewelry, it doesn't feel like pocket clutter.
So bringing this all together, we have a piece of hardware that solves the waste problem. It saves some of those 88 billion cards from going to the landfill.
A huge win.
It solves the durability problem. And it solves the cheapness problem by wrapping the tech in jewelry-grade materials.
It really is a signal of a shift from commodity networking to curated networking.
They like that phrasing.
When you hand someone a paper card, you are essentially giving them trash. You are giving them a chore. You're saying, here, hold this until you throw it away.
That is so brutally true.
But when you tap a gold-plated, crystal-encrusted coin to their phone, you are sharing a moment.
It creates a memory anchor. They might completely forget the conversation, but they'll remember the person with the magic crystal coin.
Exactly. It elevates the status of the entire interaction. It says, I value this connection enough to encode it in crystal.
But I want to leave our listeners with a thought that struck me while reading about that rewritability aspect.
Go on.
We are moving toward a world where your professional identity is housed in a chip that can be overwritten in literal seconds.
Right.
If your card is no longer a permanent printed document, but just a fluid digital pointer, what does that say about the nature of our careers?
That's a heavy question.
Are we entering an era where our professional selves are expected to be as fluid and changeable as the code on that NFC chip?
Right.
Like a liquid resume.
The liquid resume. I really like that. It suggests that adaptability is now the ultimate status symbol, even more than the gold plating on the coin.
Yeah.
It used to be about permanence, being engraved in stone. Now it's about agility, being rewritten in light.
That is definitely something for you to think about next time you're frantically padding your pockets for a piece of cardboard. That wraps up our deep dive into the CrystoCoin NFC and the future of networking.
See you next time.